Master Builder Sage 100 Contractor is celebrating its 20th year. That's quite a milestone. How did it all get started?
Well, our involvement was to begin in 1995. I took a training in Sage, or in Master Builder. It was originally called Omware Master Builder. It's now called Sage 100 Contractor. And the product was written by a man by the name of Dan Smith, who was the owner of Omware, and he was the only programmer that worked on it. So in 1995, I flew out to California and did the first training that I was going to do on this particular package. What had occurred during that time is Dan Smith had made the first transition to Windows, which is a story in itself of a package like this, because this is back in the days of DOS. This is back in the green screens and the single line across the screen and 300 baud rate modems and things like this. And so the package had been rewritten in Windows, and it had just been completed, or that's what they said, and they were doing the training on the Windows version for the first time. And it was so incomplete and no one knew it and there was no documentation, so Dan Smith did the training himself. So as we progressed through this training, they kept popping up with bugs. There'd be screens that weren't completed, so he would tell us what it would look like in the future. So that was not very helpful, but it was actually a lot of fun. During this process, one of the difficulties I had personally was I was actually a computer geek. I turned screwdrivers, I did programming, I did cabling and things like that, and made computers work in the very early ages, like we said, DOS computers and very early Windows. And so one of the difficulties I had is this was a construction accounting package, and I knew nothing about accounting at all. So I'm sitting at this table with 8 or 10 accountants. They're all CPAs or bookkeepers of some sort, and they're all talking about the trial balance, which of course is the general ledger and all the accounts that dollars are posted to. I had no idea at all what a trial balance was, nothing. And usually I'm pretty fearless about asking a question about something I don't know, and that's how I often learn. But at least on this occasion, I was smart enough not to ask that question, because I'm sure they would have wondered exactly why they invited me into this training to begin with. So I suffered through that, and I learned a lot about accounting, and I learned what I didn't know about accounting, which I learned over the next 20 years, and worked through the class. It was about a week long. One of the other things that was going on during this time is during the class, I was having tremendous migraine headaches, and I had this tremendous pain going down my left arm. And no, I wasn't having a heart attack, but what was happening was I actually had herniated a disc in my neck, and I did not know it. It had broken into tiny pieces. It migrated next to the nerve in my arm, and it was killing the nerve. So I had to actually leave the class several times and just lay there with a migraine headache, which I've never had in my whole life, and it made me much more sympathetic to those people that get them. So on the way home, I finally got on a plane, started to fly home, and I'm sitting there on this plane, and I gripped the sides of the seat on the airplane, and I was sweating. The sweat was pouring down me, and they were going up and down the aisle in that little cart, slamming into my shoulder, and it was just sending agony through me. Made it all the way home, barely. Went to the doctor that week and had emergency surgery. That's my beginning to Master Builder.